Hello, and welcome to Digging into Seesaw, the webinar presented by Kelly Curry, myself, and I am an ESL teacher at Sewell Elementary. I have been teaching there, or I have been teaching in Garland for 10 years now. And with me, I have my moderator, Nina DeVoli, who is a third grade teacher at Spring Creek Elementary. And what we're going to do today is we are just going to kind of get an overview of Seesaw. We're going to go over the basics today, and then I'm going to show you how to use formative assessments with Seesaw. In my classroom, I have, since I'm the ESL teacher, I have two student computers. I have a student iPad, one student iPad, and then if we need it, we're able to check out 10 or 20 iPads at a time. So sometimes I'm able to do that, especially if I'm using Seesaw in the classroom. So before we begin, I just want to make sure that you can hear me. If not, try logging back in. That way you're able to get all this good information. And if you would like a copy of the PowerPoint, I will be more than happy to send it to you. Just go ahead and post your email into the chat room, and I will send that your way as soon as I can. And again, if you have any questions during the webinar, feel free to type them into the chat room, and Nina will get to you as soon as she can. So if you have an available second device available, because I know you're probably watching this on one of your devices, go ahead and grab an iPad or maybe an iPhone, or if you have your desktop available to you, go ahead and grab that. That way we can just kind of walk through things together. This Seesaw is for teachers who already have their account set up with their kiddos, and maybe you have some items already posted for each student. So we're just going to kind of go ahead and get started with that. I did get some important information from a Seesaw ambassador that if you want, you can just go ahead and go to that link there and you'll be able to find some amazing information. Or you can follow Seesaw on Twitter, and they are able to provide you with some new and innovative ways to use Seesaw in the classroom. So the plan for today, again, I'm just going to go over some introductions and some new features that you may or may not have seen on Seesaw. We're going to go over some classroom management tools. We're going to kind of take a look into the journals, the student journals on Seesaw, their portfolios. We're going to look at the built-in tools that they have, kind of go over those. And I'm going to show you 5 different ways to bring assessments into your classroom using Seesaw. So kind of give you some classroom examples as well. And then if you have any questions, again, at the end, feel free to ask me or type it into the chat room. So Seesaw is just a great communication tool to use with parents. So what you want to do is when a student uploads a post or whatever their assignment is to their Seesaw journal, parents are able to see that immediately. They can either receive an email or they can receive a text saying exactly what their child is doing in class. So it's a great communication tool for parents. It also works really well with teachers. So let's say you share a group of kiddos with another teacher, you are able to share your Seesaw account with another teacher. That way you're able to see each other's students and what they're doing in the classroom. It's also very beneficial for students to see each other's work. They're able to kind of communicate and go home and see each other's assignments and also comment positive comments towards each other. And it's just a motivation booster in the classroom. It's a great way to show other students what others are doing, kind of as a teaching tool for other kids. And in Seesaw, you're able to use a voice recording. You're able to draw, or you're able to use a text feature to enhance any of the classroom work that they're posting to their profile. So let's go ahead and dig into what Seesaw looks like. If you do have a device with you, go ahead and log into your account. I'll give you a few minutes to do that. Okay, so hopefully you've logged into your account and you should see something that looks like what our screen looks like here. Over here to the left, if you do have an account, you're going to have your teacher name and all of your classes listed. You see I have 3 classes under my account here. You're able to, on the right, see all of your students that you've added and the number of items that each kiddo has. And here is where I wanted to talk about the different tools that you're able to use within Seesaw. So if you see the journal page here, this is where students are going to be able to upload their profile, their assignments to their online profile. So they will just click here and then they're able to see exactly what they posted under their name. The inbox here is a great tool to use for parent communication. This is definitely a private communication when you use this with parents. So parents are able to communicate back and forth with you about their child's assignment, or maybe they're missing an assignment. This is another great tool to use, and it's all private. So if you click on this, you're able to chat with a parent not on the main screen. The next button here is the skills button. This is great. Like I said, I'm going to get to it soon, but this is great for formative assessments if you click on this. And it's great to kind of grade students' work that they've posted onto their Seesaw account. And you're also able to do a whole lot of other features that I said I will get to pretty soon, but it's a amazing feature to use for Seesaw. And then over here, you have the blogging tool to use. And this is a great communication to use with teachers globally. So if you do start a classroom blog, you're able to share ideas with not only the teachers within your state, but globally. That way you can bounce ideas off of each other. We all know that we love to share ideas and get new ways to use content in the classroom. So you're able to see that how teachers are using your specific skills or TEKs worldwide. So I'm just going to briefly go over how to upload an item and ways, just the basics of ways of using Seesaw. If you see this green plus sign right here, what the students will do is when they are ready to upload their assignment to their Seesaw, they're going to click on this green arrow right here, and it'll bring them to this page here. You're going to see that they're able to upload a photo. They're going to be able to record if they would like, or maybe sometimes I have them record each other. They can use the drawing feature, the add a file feature. I like to use this for 3rd grade and above. I'm able to show them exactly how to upload a file. For the younger grades, it might be a little bit hard. You might be able to use that for your GT kiddos if you want to show them that. They're able to add notes to their assignment. And this right here, the link one, is whenever you want to add a link from another source. I like to call this app smashing, is when you use a different app, but you want to add that assignment into your Seesaw account. So you're able to add that link using this item right here, using the link post right here. So if you switch back and go back to your home page, right here on the very top, you're able to see, I don't know if you see these lines right here, but that is the classroom view. That's whenever students are able to post. If you look right here next to it, and if you click on that, that's going to show you a calendar view for all the work that has been uploaded to Seesaw. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And you're going to see 2 things. Over here on the left, you're going to be able to see a calendar of items that have been posted on that particular day. So here you can see that yesterday there were 2 items posted to the Seesaw account. So I'm able to see exactly, number 1, if my students are posting those items, and over here to the right, I'm able to see who exactly posted it. So what you would want to do is you want to click on that date, and this second screen will pop up here. So this is a great tool for teachers to see who has turned an assignment or who hasn't. It's also a great tool to use for immediate feedback for those kiddos. So you're able to click on, let's say you want to click on Leslie's journal here. You click on her journal and you're able to see what her assignment was. And you're able to correct any misconceptions that she has immediately if you go to this screen. That way she can go back and change her assignment before it's due or if she needs to. I thought this was an amazing tool. They just added this feature a couple years ago, or maybe last year. So that's the calendar view feature. So now we're going to get into some exciting ways to use formative assessments and Seesaw. I don't know about you, but I don't like to, I try to stay away from pencil and paper a little bit. So this is a great tool to use, Seesaw. And sometimes you don't even have to take home, you know how sometimes you take home a stack of papers or a stack of spirals. You don't have to do that anymore if you use Seesaw. So this again provides a great way of making thinking visible. They're able to snapshot their pictures. They're able to add a voice to their assignments. Um, your assessments are organized. If you remember the calendar that I just showed you, you are able to organize assignments. Great tool to use. And then you're also able to see the growth of each student. And that is going to be that skills tab that I showed you on the home page. Again, it's very quick, it's very simple, and it's a powerful tool to use if you're using formative assessments with Seesaw. Okay, so I'm going to show you 5 different ways, and you might have used these ways. And then at the end, I'm going to show you, I have a little surprise at the end for you. So 5 different ways to use Seesaw in the classroom for formative assessments. So one of the first ways I like to use it is for writing samples, beginning of the year writing samples. So if you see here, here's an example of a student's writing. I really love for students to go and take a picture of their writing. That way I'm not, you know, carrying 24 journals with me home. I have them take a picture of their writing instead. And that way I can go and log on at home to Seesaw and I'm able to read exactly what they've done. And then I'm able to provide feedback for that student right then and there. It's also a great tool to use for parent-teacher conferences. I like to show what they've done at the beginning of the year and give them another example, maybe at the middle of the year, how their writing has improved, and then again at the end of the year, so that the parents and the students are able to see the growth that they have made during Writer's Workshop. So example number 2 that I like to use, ways I like to use formative assessments is a reading sample. This is a great tool to use to check for fluency. And what student doesn't love to record or use an iPad while they're reading? It's just another incentive for them to get in there and to want to read. So I love to check for fluency. So what I have them do is I have them take a screenshot of their book that they're reading, and then they press the record option in Seesaw, and then they begin to read. I'm able to provide feedback. Maybe they need to have an expression in their voice. Maybe they're reading too fast, and I'm able to provide that feedback for them. Another way I use it is during Reader's Workshop, is where I have them partner read. Sometimes I have them individually read, but then when I have them get in their partners, they record, they just use the iPad and they record their partner's reading. So that not only helps their partner because their partner is more focused on what they're reading because somebody's actually looking at them, but it also helps them as a reminder of, okay, I need to make sure that I'm reading my words correctly. I need to make sure that I'm have an expression and that I'm, being slow to read or slowly reading. Another great tool that I use, ways to use this is through a summary. I actually have this in my reading centers or stations. And what they have to do is they have to, again, take a snapshot of their story. They read it to themselves independently, and then they get on their Seesaw and they post their summary. So they tell me exactly what happened in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end of their story. And then I'm able to go back and check for comprehension to make sure they're understanding what they're reading. And so here's an example. I had an example of a voice recording here of the student telling me exactly what happened in his story. And I wish you could hear it. It's not working right now, but I wish you could hear it because you could just hear the expression and how detailed he is in his sentences. And then I was able to go back and provide him with feedback. Another way I use it is during math. During math time, I'm able to have them again take a screenshot of their journals. That way, I don't have to carry those journals again. And they use the drawing feature and the voice recording feature on Seesaw to explain their thinking. So I always say you have to justify your answers. And instead of them writing it out, because sometimes, this is a second grade class actually, sometimes you're not able to read their handwriting, or sometimes you just have those students who express themselves better whenever they are recording themselves. So they are able to use the voice recording here, and they're actually able to draw as they explain themselves. And then I also have them go back and record themselves and justify their answer as to how they found the total of whatever problem they're doing. So that's another great tool. Another way to use it is through labeling. If you look down here, if they take a screenshot of a photo, if you look here, this is the text feature that I was talking about earlier. They're able to add text to their pictures. So maybe it's writing sentences, or here you can see an example of them labeling parts here. So they're able to not only provide text, but they're also able to record as they are explaining their thinking. So it's great use for vocabulary, learning parts of an object here, and then also, again, checking for that understanding, making sure they're understanding what they're doing. So here's another great way to use Seesaw. This is with the use of vocabulary. Again, you always want to incorporate vocabulary into your lessons. And what better way to do that than with Seesaw. So what I have my students do, I also use this with another app. So I use the link with the app smashing that I was talking about earlier. So what I have them do is I have them, once I've introduced the vocabulary words, I have them choose a vocabulary word they want to write about. And so they'll write the vocabulary word here. They will draw a picture of it. And then on the back, they will tell me a sentence. They will tell me the word. They will tell me a sentence, and then provide the definition of a word. Then they will go to Seesaw, take a picture of it, and then record themselves talking about the vocabulary word. So it's just a different strategy to use to introduce or to enhance and go over those vocabulary words. So now I want to tell you about Seesaw Plus. If you have heard about it or you're thinking about getting it, I would suggest that you do. You do have to purchase it, but I assure you it is an amazing tool to use. So I'm just going to kind of walk you through this screen here. If you look again to get to Seesaw Plus, once you've purchased it, you're going to go to the skills tab here. And underneath, you're going to be able to see all the features that come with it. Okay. So if you look here, this is where you're able to add a category or an assignment right here, provide a specific subject. And it also gives you skills that you can add to your assignment. So whatever lesson you're doing, let's say you're comparing numbers, you're able to add maybe the TEKS or a certain skill underneath and attach it to that assignment. Here on top, once you've added that, here on top, you'll see all of the assignments that have been added to your classroom. Over here to the left, you're able to see the students, each student that you have in your classroom. You can also add a picture here. I thought that was a cool feature. And then you're able to see exactly which assignments each student has uploaded into their online journal. You can also give live feedback. So you're able to provide them with live feedback, and you can also give ratings. So you can set your ratings and give them like stars for their assignments that they've done. So if you see these numbers here on the bottom, that teacher has given them stars for their assignments. And so the students are able to see this and they're able to go back in and correct their assignments that way. This is also another great tool to use during those parent teacher conferences. So parents are able to see, oh, they didn't turn in this assignment, so we got to get this done, or I need to talk to my child about this, or look how amazing my child did on this assignment. Great tool to use with those parents. I also like how it matches the skills, the standards to our state. I think that's a really nice tool to use. So earlier in our webinar, I was talking about like a little surprise. I don't know if you've seen this before, but this is 100 different ways to use Seesaw in the classroom. Yes, I came across this a few weeks ago. I was on Twitter and I was following Seesaw, and there was an ambassador on there that had posted this idea. And the ambassadors that work for Seesaw came up with 100 different ways to use Seesaw in the classroom. So if you want to, I would write that website down, the www.ideas.seesaw.me, and I would go and click on that link, and you're going to be directed to this all of these amazing ideas. So I thought that I printed it off immediately when I saw it, and I shared it with my colleagues as well. That way, they're able to use those ideas in their classroom. And then, of course, you can also provide different ways for formative assessments. You can look at that and say, oh, I can make an assessment out of that. So I thought this was amazing. They have scavenger hunts, retelling a story. Um, I mean, just all kinds of things that you could use. So again, I just want to thank you for joining me. I know you did not have to be here, and taking a few minutes out of your day to tune in is something that I really appreciate. If you do have any questions, I'll kind of hang around for a few minutes to answer any of those in the chat room. And Nina will post a CPE link for you so that you are able to receive credit for attending. And again, if you can follow me on Twitter at Kelly C. 77, and you're going to be able to see some of the different ways that I've used Seesaw in my classroom. You'll be able to hear actual recordings of items that students have uploaded to their profile, as well as different things that I've posted about Seesaw. So, again, thanks for tuning in. I hope you learned something today, and I really appreciate you being here. Thanks.